The International Longshoremen Association is on strike. So Fox News had the breaking this morning.
News alert. Tens of thousands of port workers are walking off the job right now after failing to reach a deal, effectively shutting down major ports along the East Coast.
Lauren Simonetti tells us.
This is what's happening right now. Nearly 50,000 unionized dock workers from Maine to Texas began walking off the job a few hours ago, just as their contract with the ports expired. Their employers, represented by the U.S. Maritime Alliance, say they proposed nearly 50% wage increase to the International Longshoremen's Association, in addition to a boost in health care benefits and a tripling of retirement plan contributions. It was rejected by union leadership. Dock workers also striking over fears, as you said, Steve, that automation could eventually lead to dramatic job loss. They are demanding total ban on automated cranes, gates, and container moving trucks used for freight.
So just to pause there, Fox News leads with the other demands. The longshoremen tend to like to lead with the automation demand since that's their major issue. They do have demands beyond that, which Fox takes issue with, which we're going to see in a later video. But that is one of the big sticking points here is they want to be ensured that they're not going to that their jobs are not going to be automated out of existence because these are 6-year contracts. So you don't just fight for the deal for today. You got to anticipate, okay, at the rate technology is changing, are we going to be replaced in year 4 out of 6? Because you don't get another bite at the apple for quite a long time. All right, here we go.
The ports shutting down, responsible for about half of all U.S. imports and billions of dollars in trade a month. And products will not be able to be imported or exported during the strike. This includes chemicals, iron and steel, medical equipment, furniture, vehicles, machinery, and electric machinery. A J.P. Morgan analysis predicts this strike could cost the economy $5 billion a day. The New Jersey port director told Fox Business 6 ships have already anchored offshore after failing to make it into the port before it shut down. That number, by the way, is expected to reach 35 if this strike extends over a week. Now, President Biden has the power to impose an 80-day cooling off period to get the workers back on the job. As contract talks continue, he has said he will not intervene. The Teamsters union is telling him, stay out of this fight. They're using much cruder language that I cannot say on air to send that message. But guys, here we are. Another strike. What is it, number 71 or 72 under the Biden administration?
Yeah, I think it's 70. Yeah, I think 71.
This will be 72.
So the Teamsters, they said, you better not intervene. This is where the power comes in from them not having issued any endorsement, because now the fact that they have not endorsed either candidate, that gives them more power in this situation. Right. There's an election in 35 days. Don't fuck up here. Don't fuck up here and make us endorse Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, this is it. This is it. This is the only, at this historical moment, this is the only worthwhile political activity. Strikes, as you advocate, a general strike, union organization, grassroots movement around specific issues. What we really need to do as a left movement is develop a set of precepts and demands. When I think about, well, where do we go after this election from hell? Like, what do? We need to develop some guiding principles to organize coalitions around.
Right.
This whole, don't get into what are the Green parties, this and all of this fighting, all of this infighting around nonsense. It really needs to stop. And people need to understand this wants you doing that. This wants you doing that. X, all of these platforms reward antagonism. It is what the CIA and the FBI, they still do it. But I honestly don't believe they feel like they have to do it like they used to. Like they would literally get the Black Panthers in gunfights with other groups by infiltrating both sides, and people would get killed. Now the algorithms do it. The algorithms do it. It really incentivizes everybody to jump up on a soapbox and make their declaration about their purity. Oh, how dare you? That shit has got to stop. We have got to develop basic principles of what the demands are and move forward from there and include everyone who can agree on those principles and knock it off with the doctrinaire bullshit.
Yeah. And then when you have a work stoppage, you say, when these conditions of ours are met, we will go back to work and not
That's
a day
it.
sooner.
That's it. That's
All
it.
right. Now, here is the man of the day here, Harold Daggett, who is the president of the Longshoremen. Here he is mixing it up with a Fox News reporter over the strike.
And the past
Secretary of Labor Julie Sue has been terrific. She's knocking down doors. She's trying to stop this. She's trying to get us to a media where we can have a fair negotiations. It's the companies that don't want to. They don't want to sit here and be fair. So that's why we're out here fighting for our livelihood.
What more from the automation do you want? What more protections could there be?
What more?
Yeah, they have language in there now.
Not strong enough, because what happens is they come in with new technology. We just caught them in Mobile, Alabama, called Autogate, and that means the trucks are coming in and they're already checked in somewhere else and not using the checkers in the ILA. Circumventing the contract. They don't care. They don't care. It's not fair. And if we don't put our foot down now, they would like to run over us, and we're not going to allow that.
You are going to grind the economy to a halt here on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
No, not us. They are. Don't spin it now, because you're Fox News. They're going to drive it.
But are you worried?
They're going to drive it.
Are you worried that this
They have
strike?
the capital to settle this thing.
Are you worried that this strike is going to hurt the everyday American, the farmers that need to reach the export market? They're
Listen,
telling me that they're going to hurt through
Now
all
you
of
start
this.
to realize who the longshoremen are, right?
Nobody cares.
People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now. Cars won't come in. Food won't come in. Clothing won't come in. You know how many people depend on our jobs? Half the world. And it's time for them and time for Washington to put so much pressure on them to take care of us, because we took care of them and we're here 135 years and brought them where they are today, and they don't want to share.
That's it.
You see
That's
what
it.
happens,
Now he's
Larry,
doing
when you fuck a stranger in the ass?
exactly. Yeah. Yes. That's it. That's it. She's out there. Well, we are going to hurt the economy. No, we're not going to hurt the economy.
Yes,
the people who won't give us the contract are not going to hurt the economy.
I love this guy. That's exactly right. And you know what? This is exactly the kind of guy Fox News does not want to show you.
Exactly.
They've been running around. The people that they represent, the people that they are mouthpieces for, have been running around pretending every guy like this is obsessed with culture war issues and completely on board with Reaganomics and bootstraps and obsessed with migrants. And that's a real fucking working class guy talking in older language. It's not an accident. He's an older guy. This is something else I've been thinking about a lot. The whole political left is so degraded. We really need to look to the past. We really need to look to the tactics and the organizing principles of past leaders. I got to send this to you. We've been so busy. We've had so much shit to do. One guy I interviewed who's a fan of the show, but he was an older guy. He kept coming up to me at Rescue the Republic. Interview me. What I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna love. It's very important. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm running around. I'm trying to grab interviews with these people as they come in the tent. And he was like, call them out. I said, all right, I promise before I leave today, I'm going to come out and I'm going to interview. So I did. When I was leaving, he was like, you ready? I'm like, yes, you got 5 minutes. I turned the camera on him. And, you know, man, he started naming labor organizing books and Saul Alinsky and all this stuff. And he was basically like, look, this has already been figured out. People have already developed principles for how you organize along economic lines. but people aren't using these principles. They forgot how to do this, and we have to go back to those principles. And he's right, man. He's right. We'll show that. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to dismantle that framing, because the way Fox News always tries to frame this is that it's the unions holding the country hostage, right? This is class warfare. That's what they say. And that's what she was sent out there to do. She had her little script of the questions that she's supposed to ask to put this guy in a negative light. You're going to tank the country. It's going to be your fault that people lose jobs over this if it goes on indefinitely, and that, the country's going to come to a halt. A lot of Americans are really worried that they're going to be hurting because of you. Yep. And he's like, no, it's not because of me.
They've been playing for
They've been playing that the whole time, and she tried to do that, and he just swatted it down so forcefully. Yeah.
It's their fault. It's not the fault of the owners. It's always the fault of the workers.
Exactly.
That's when you get these workers who get mad about a minimum wage increase.
Yep.
It's people have been so brainwashed to hate workers. It's an incredible thing that they've done in the, from Reagan to this time. Like, they really accomplished what they set out to do, to convince the working class that their interests are aligned with the ownership class.
Exactly.
What was it? Hemingway said, in America, everyone thinks they're temporarily embarrassed millionaires. That has never been more true than now. We have all of these workers who will defend the ownership class because you think you're gonna start a Kentucky Fried Chicken type franchise chain, like that's going to be you. So you don't want the taxes to go up on the rich because you don't want to have to pay them when you get rich.
That was John Steinbeck, not Hemingway. I just looked that up because I thought
Steinbeck?
I didn't think it was Hemingway, but yeah, one of those. But yeah, no, I mean, so that is totally true. And the whole framing of this as a class warfare issue, they only accuse the working people of doing class warfare.
Right.
When Vanguard, it is projected that the Vanguard Group's going to own 40% of housing by 2030 because of the rate at which they're buying the new housing.
Right.
They don't call that class warfare. That's good business. Right. So when the rich do business, that's business. But when the working people do business, that is class warfare.
This is what I'm saying. You got to fucking shut it down.
Right.
All of these podcasters with all of these fucking platforms. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they've backed or bad positions they've taken. You know where you're really going to see who's who? We need to start organizing massive protests at Goldman Sachs headquarters, at Vanguard headquarters. We need to start making the kind of massive demonstrations exposing these corporations and what they're doing that make it impossible for them to hide. Look, we have all in this space developed a fair amount of visibility, where if we actually apply it to something, that could have an enormous impact. Like, to me, after this election, which is really just a distraction, this election is really meaningless to me at this point. Like, in terms of who wins, it's pick your poison, man. Pick what flavor of poison you like.
Right.
Let's get past that. You had these two Bernie campaigns that all this shit was anchored around before, and we weren't really doing this then. But okay, so what do you do after this election? Like, what do you do? Like, what? You're going to spend the next 4 years bitching about whoever's in office until the next election comes along? Like, what is it? Is this space for activism, or is it just entertainment? At which point, you might as well just go back to CNN and MSNBC for all the good that does. They got a budget. At least you get some nice graphics. You get a set. You don't get a plant and a TV and a broken down bookcase. You'll get some graphics. That needs to be where this goes. There needs to people in this space need to use their visibility, need to use their profile to support movements like this and to help stimulate actions like this.
Please clap.